Evade is one of the biggest upcoming games in Roblox right now. Starting in June 2022, it quickly capitalized on the nextbots trend and rose up among the ranks, becoming the fastest Roblox game to reach 1 billion visits. In this video, I'll be breaking down the more obscure parts of Evade and gearing most of this guide to people that already have a baseline of knowledge in the game. If you want to understand the fundamentals, I recommend watching the part 1 guide to Evade first before watching this video, which covers easier topics. From skins, special rounds and angry Munci, this is the complete guide to Evade Part 2. In some maps, you can choose to complete objectives that will give you an advantage in a round. In Evade, there are numerous diverse objectives, some of which result in badges. For more information, view the badges section of this video. You can access a safe room that shields you from the nextbots, at least temporarily, by pulling secret levels located throughout the map in places like Art Gallery, Complex, IKEA, Neighborhood, and Underground Facility. You're required to turn on a covert generator that activates cameras in laboratory, library, pool rooms, and back rooms. These cameras function similarly to radars and assist you in precisely locating the nextbots. The simplest objective in Desert Bus basically requires you to call up the bus in the middle of the map. The most intriguing objective is Arid Ruins, which awards a badge, which needs you to get a secret key and turn on a secret wall, and is also covered in more detail in this video's badges section. As the game progresses, fewer and fewer objectives are included. Many of the more recent maps have no objectives at all, which makes me wonder if they will eventually be phased out. The settings menu is located in the bottom left corner of the menu. You can modify many aspects of Evade to better suit your needs using the settings menu. Field of view or FOV lets you adjust how much peripheral vision you have, but it actively slows down your frame rate because it requires more simultaneous processing from your CPU. By replacing high quality textures with low quality ones, low quality lowers the visual quality of the game. Another resource intensive feature on your computer is shadows. It can be turned off, but if your graphics level is lower than 4, it will be disabled by default. Character shadows cast shadows not only on the nextbots but also on other people. For me, this isn't really worth it because the character shadows suck anyways and drain your frame rate, so the trade-off isn't really that good. The sprint view model, which demonstrates how your hands swing around as you sprint, personally I disabled this because I don't want any additional distractions on my screen. But I recommend tinkering around in the settings menu because it allows you to pick out a config that you would like. The most recent setting added to Evade is Ragdolls, which essentially modifies whether dead players assume a ragdoll position after dying. Skins are accessories that you can add to your character to give you a slight advantage. All these cost a lot of money, but they might come in very handy when things are bad. Starting at $1,200, headphones are the most affordable option and increase your ability to hear the nextbots. Smaller and more constrained maps like Silver Mall benefit greatly from this because the extra range is much more useful there as these maps are smaller. Next up, the briefcase and the badge. The briefcase and the badge are cut from the same cloth. Both of them cost $1,250 and offer a 10% bonus either in cash or in experience. These items are very beginner friendly due to their low prices and the bonus rewards they offer, which allows you to advance through the game more quickly. Personally, I like the briefcase better than the badge because it has more longevity, but either way is acceptable. The stethoscope is an improvement over the 3 previous skins. It costs $1,500 and gives you the ability to revive teammates 30% more quickly than usual. This is incredibly helpful in the big team game mode on large servers because there is so much reviving that you need to do there. Playing a large team with the stethoscope and attempting to revive everyone inside is a group grinding strategy because it allows you to exploit the cash bonus you get for revives. The next item on the list, Boxy Boy, is priced at $2,000. You receive a brief speed boost when you approach a nextbot that will be useful in emergency situations but has a 20-second cooldown. One significant drawback of Boxy Boy is that it occasionally can be useless while the cooldown is still active. In my opinion, Boxy Boy is a good option if you want a mid-tier skin because of the way it helps you out of difficult circumstances. Another skin that comes in handy when you need it is the Medkit. It is a skin that costs $2,500 and increases your revival time by 30 seconds. So if you have the Medkit with you, you can survive being down for 80 seconds, which is literally more than 1/3 of the entire round. When you're down though, you will also experience an increase in speed, which will make you more approachable to those who can assist you. When you are down, the Medkit skin dramatically improves your chances of surviving, and it has personally saved my life several times. And now this is where all the high-end skins begin. The military grade pack costs $3,500. With this skin, instead of the usual 3, you can deploy 8 usables in a round. I don't have to tell you why this is helpful. Military grade pack is a very high maintenance skin, so in order to use it to its full potential, you'll need a deep understanding of usables as well as plenty of extra cash. It is not at all beginner friendly, so I suggest it for seasoned players. With a price tag of $4,000, Hermes Shoes is the most expensive skin on this list. With 80% more running acceleration, it results in you having a 2-second transition from walking to your top speed, which is insanely fast. Stilts is the last item on the list, costing $2,500. This skin raises your max speed, making you a bit faster over time. Acceleration should not be confused with this. Acceleration does not increase your max speed, it only shortens the time it takes to reach it. Therefore, Hermes Shoes would triumph in a short sprint, but Stilts will be quicker in a marathon. A good place for you to start to know more about the character skins is the tier list that I made on this channel, which details my personal thoughts on each and every skin in the game. To learn more, click the link in the top right. Utilities are extra items that can help you in the game in some way. By pressing 1 on your keyboard, you can get to them in-game. Utilities usually last for 6 rounds. Let's start off with the cheapest one. The compass costs the least money. The compass, which costs $40, will aid you in keeping track of your general location, as well as it can be used to locate objectives around the map as it points towards them. This is really good because some maps offer safe rooms, offer cameras, and offer some sort of advantage that helps you in the game. However, be careful with its usage because it's useless in certain maps that have no objectives at all. You can communicate with other players on the server who also have the radio thanks to the $150 radio utility. The radio is very helpful in paper. This is due to the radio's ability to communicate useful information to other players. In practice though, it is less useful due to the fact that few players on most servers use the radio. And it's such a shame because there's so many things that could be done with the radio. For example, teammates are able to say where they are, where the next bot's at, and how far away they are from one another, which is really important information for obvious reasons. The timer though is my favorite utility in the game. At $100, it informs you of how much longer you have to play before the round is over. It is very reasonably priced, at $100 for 6 rounds. You can locate nearby nextbots with the aid of the radar, a top tier utility starting at $320. Quite a significant increase. There are nextbots nearby if the radio beeps frequently, however, if nextbots are far away, the nextbot only beeps sporadically. The cost of the decoy is a little higher at $350. With the help of this tool, you can create a fake version of yourself that can be used to elude nextbots. However, in reality, this is very challenging to accomplish, and the high cost does not help it either. Currently, the game only has 3 light items, which you can access by pressing F. It's pretty straightforward. The night vision allows you to see in the dark, while the flashlight provides the least amount of light. Darkness special round or maps that are really dark in nature benefit the most from this. And as well, I'll be doing a video that ranks all the utilities, which you can check out in the top right now. Usables are inexpensive one-time items that give you a competitive advantage. There are currently 8 usables available in the game. The cheapest options start at $30 for the beacon and the floodlight. The beacon makes it possible for other players to see an outline of you in the game. Since it enables other players to easily find you and assist you if you need it, this is a very powerful usable at such a low price, which makes it a steal. However, the floodlight has more situational applications. It works best in darkness special rounds or on dimmer maps because its brightness makes it easier to see other players and nextbots in the dark. These 2 usables have the benefit of lasting an entire round, which is fantastic. The next item on the list is the cola, which costs $60. You can use this usable to accelerate incredibly quickly for 6 seconds. You can exit potentially hazardous situations much faster thanks to the increased speed from the cola. I believe that due to how useful it is for everyone should carry at least 1 or 2 colas with them at all times. The next item is the sensor, which also costs $60. It functions like a less expensive radar that performs the same functions, but it has the drawback that the sensor cannot be moved at all, unlike the radar. The barrier costs the same as the sensor, which costs $60 as well. In my opinion, choke points on the map are the best places to use the barrier, which essentially has the ability to halt and delay the next bots for a short period of time. The length of its cooldown timer of the barrier is the only drawback that it has. The barrier is comparable to the landmine, which costs $80. The next bots may be temporarily stunned if they touch the landmine. It is a really interesting idea, but it doesn't work in practice because it's so simple to kill other people using the landmine. The teleporter costs an additional $80 and has 2 teleporters scattered across the map, allowing you to teleport from one place to another. The teleporter has a lot of drawbacks, but it might be helpful in escaping dangerous situations. First off, it has a built-in cooldown and every use would reduce its lifespan. Although it's very useful in theory, it is quite difficult to execute properly. The most expensive usable that can be used is the speed pad, which essentially grants users speed. The speed pad works best with small maps like 4 corners because it is so convenient to keep using it in order to get the most speed out of it. The fact that it's only a $60 lifespan is the only drawback. And as well, visit the link in the top right to see the tier list of all the game's consumables that I have created. Cosmetics are entertaining add-ons that in some ways to spice up your game. They're located in the daily shop and can only be bought with points that you earn by achieving daily goals. There are tons of cool new items in this section, including new hats, skins for your items, particles, and even new friends. The daily shop is reset every day, so it's a good idea to check in to see what's new. There are typically 4 slots. 2 of them are designated for regular items, with the 3rd slot for character-only items, and the 4th is typically set aside for special items, like uncommon or exotic skins to increase the frequency with which these rare items appear. To be honest, it was a pretty wise design decision. Emotes are a fun way to communicate with other players and can be found in the character shop next to skins. You can switch between the emotes you have chosen by pressing the G key on your keyboard. There are many different emotes, some costing only pennies while others cost thousands of dollars. The bumper card is my personal favorite emote, and I think that it's a lot of fun to experiment with these. What is your favorite emote? Please list it in the comments. One of the most crucial components of Evade is movement. The way a player moves can help you tell a good player from a bad one. It is a very important skill to have because of how quickly you can move with it and how many different movement techniques you can use. The simplest and most practical form of movement is bunny hopping, also known as bee hopping. Bee hopping is a great way to get away from the nextbots. It's a technique for movement that enables you to maintain momentum from one jump to the next, ultimately making you faster. You may be familiar with this term because it is used frequently in other games like CSGO and Quake. And if you do play these games, you won't have any trouble using it in Evade. If you don't play these games at all, don't be concerned. Evade is very forgiving in terms of bee hopping. First of all, each time you touch the ground, you must hit the space bar and jump. By the way, this needs to be nearly flawless. You also need to strafe in addition to doing that. To strafe to the left, hit the A key while jumping and tilting your camera to the left to strafe to the left. Hit your D key while jumping to the right, then turn your camera to the right to strafe to the right. You just need to repeat that several times to get a bunny hop. Additionally, there is a Roblox game called Bee Hop where you can practice bee hopping to get better. However, this game is much less forgiving than Evade. If you want to learn more about movement in Evade, I strongly encourage you to watch my advanced movement guide video, which has a link in the top right corner of this page. It breaks down many more movement techniques like wall hugging, trimming, and many others in great detail. In Evade, there are a few badges that are quite challenging to obtain. However, the majority of the badges in Evade are rather easy to earn. You just only need to advance to a particular level. The 4 special badges though are somewhat more intriguing. Let's start with the easiest one, Flawless Survival. Flawless Survival is given to players who complete a single round without taking even one hit from the nextbots. The simplest of the 4 badges, I actually earned it in my very first Evade video, which you can see in the upper right corner and features gameplay of one of the game's earliest iterations. For the hit and run badge, you must spawn on Desert Bus and first accomplish the objective by calling the bus. An actual bus will appear on the highway about a minute later. However, you will die if you contact the bus. What you have to do is that you must successfully hit a nextbot with that bus in order to receive a badge. Your chances of receiving this badge could be improved by using VIP servers, which are discussed in more detail in the VIP menu section of this video. The badge Escape can only be found through a hidden door in the back rooms. First, go to the area in the back rooms with the most pillars. When you get to the map's edge, follow the path with the lights. You will soon reach this hallway, where there is an oddly narrow wall. You'll find a room full of holes if you walk down the corridor next to it. And after that, jump on the holes to earn the badge. Without including levels of course, Procedure is both the most difficult and scarcest badge in the game to obtain. You will need to uncover a hidden golden key that was concealed all over the map, and it's only obtainable through arid ruins. Quick tip though, you can go on YouTube and check out the many spots that this golden key can hide in. It's really helpful. After you get the key, continue on to this area of the wall of the map that looks to have been shifted in a little bit. This is located directly across from the lion sculptures, by the way. If you have the key, the door will then open and will expose an orb, which you must then interact with. You then receive the badge. You can change the game to whatever you want by accessing the VIP menu through VIP servers. However, the cost of this VIP server is 70 Robux. The game's basic rules such as how long a round lasts, how many lives you have, how many rounds are in a map, and so on can all be changed using the VIP menu. You can also force special rounds, which are covered in more detail in the section on special rounds, as well as kick and ban players from your VIP server. But the cheating menu is the most enjoyable part. These cheats give you access to some really unique content, but regrettably, changing them will prevent you from receiving any rewards even if you win. There are numerous things that you can do in here, including forcing weapons, guard mode, and many others. I personally find the lack of a force map option in the VIP menu to be a significant drawback. I occasionally need footage for maps, but I have to watch so many other maps before I can get the map that I need. Also, here's a quick tip. The commands in the VIP menu are case sensitive, so make sure you type them correctly for them to function. The most important part of the VIP menu in my opinion is that it allows you to access certain experimental or secret features that wouldn't be accessible to you in any other way. A prime example of these will be vehicles that you can physically ride around in the game, but it doesn't appear at normal servers at all. Overall, I believe the VIP server is a good choice if you're a Evade superfan and want to explore many of the game's secrets. However, if you're a casual fan and you just play occasionally, saving the 70 Robux and purchasing something else is what I advise. Simply put, special rounds are regular rounds with a unique twist. They alter the conventional Evade formula in some way. Every single one of these special rounds make the game more difficult in some way, and they typically only appear once per map. You receive additional rewards for passing difficult special rounds, depending on how difficult the special round actually is to make up for this. For instance, quadruple trouble multiplies your rewards by 1.6, whereas randomizer doesn't affect your rewards at all. There's an equal chance for each special round to appear, so you never know what to anticipate. Let's start with the fundamental ones. Every so often, you'll switch places with another player during a special round called swap. This special round is very dependent on luck because it's entirely possible for you to end up in a bad position just by exchanging. The opposite is also true. On this particular round, you can quickly transition from a dangerous to a safe position. Speed is simple, everyone, including you and the nextbots, have extra speed. Instead, no sprinting is a special round that leaves you handicapped because you are unable to sprint. B-hopping is the only strategy that works in this special round to defeat nextbots. In my opinion, no jumping is worse because it eliminates B-hopping, because it takes away your ability to do so. Running around corners or wall hugging are the only ways to avoid nextbots in this special round, both of which are much more difficult to do and are less straightforward. The special round known as darkness effectively blurs your vision, making it more difficult to see approaching nextbots. Lights are crucial in this situation because they offset the effect of darkness. Other than Angry Monkey, Double Trouble and Quadruple Trouble are the hardest special rounds because they multiply the number of nextbots by 2 or 4 respectively. Additionally, they pay out more, with Quadruple Trouble multiplying the rewards by 1.6 and Double Trouble by 1.4. The special round Invisible doesn't actually render the nextbots invisible. The nextbots become translucent, making them more difficult to see, but they're still observable. The special round known as Randomizer changes the utilities, consumables, and lighting that you have to work with. Imposter is one of the most popular special rounds in the entire game. You have to contend not only with nextbots, but with another player chosen as an imposter who has a gun and can shoot you. Examining the imposter's interactions with nextbots is a good way to identify the imposter. If the imposter does not react to nextbots at all, use that to your advantage. That means that it's him. The special round known as Quiet mutes all nextbot noises, save for those coming close to you. Be extra cautious when this special round appears because nextbots can now sneak up on you without giving any prior notice, making evade more difficult. Military Incursion is a very unique round that modifies the game's foes. There are soldiers with guns who will start shooting you in place of nextbots pursuing you. The same thing happens in Armed Incursion, but this time you have a gun and you are able to defend yourself. However, Armed Incursion is only available in VIP servers. The special round known as Angry Munci is infamous for being challenging and terrifying. The majority of the nextbots are, in my opinion, not all terrifying, so Evade has never been a particularly spooky horror game. However, Angry Munci elevates Evade to a whole new level. First off, Angry Munci has a black body with 2 menacing, terrible eyes that just speed it through your soul. They're also typically 2 to 3 times faster than all the other nextbots. Dimmer maps like Complex make it nearly impossible to see the Angry Munci, making the situation much more dangerous. Because of everything mentioned above, Angry Munci special rounds are much rarer than other special rounds because they appear much less frequently. Angry Munci only appears in the game's special rounds Super Munci, Angry Munci, and Lurking rounds. It never appears during normal gameplay. The Super Munci is like a faster, supercharged variation of the Angry Munci. There are 3 versions of both Super Munci and Angry Munci, Super Munci 1, 2, 3, and Angry Munci 1, 2, and 3. The higher the number, the more Angry Munci are produced. In order to provide the scariest possible version of Evade, the 2022 Halloween update added the Lurking special round, which combined the Darkness special round and the Angry Munci special round. When I first played it, I was shitting bricks, bro. I never knew Evade could be so scary. There are additional game modes that will alter the traditional Evade formula in some way. We'll start off with Casual. Casual, which has infinite lives, no reviving, and a longer round timer, is essentially a lower stakes variation of Evade. Dying in Casual mode is actually impossible, so reviving is not impossible as well. This map, however, offers smaller rewards than the original. When you just want to relax while playing the game on the side with some friends, just use this game mode. In the game mode Social Space, nextbots are completely eliminated. It allows you to freely explore and learn more about Evade without constantly being pursued by a nextbot. However, there are no prizes awarded for playing the game in Social Space. Big Team is the same game, but there are 3 times as many players. Big Team servers are very chaotic chaotic, with a lot of players running around the map and way more nextbots. Due to the amount of reviving required in this mode, Big Team is actually very effective at utilizing the revive cash bonus that you receive. Because it allows you to revive more quickly, the stethoscope is my favorite skin to use in this game mode. But since there are more players, your FPS will likely suffer as a result of the increased demand on your CPU. TDM or Team Deathmatch is a game mode where you compete against other players as well as the nextbots. In this game mode, the players are divided into one of two teams. The team that loses all of its players first will lose. I think it's a really cool variation of the evade formula. Never played much of it, but it's definitely there. Pro servers features a higher stakes version of evade in contrast to casual. This is due to the fact that the nextbots are more powerful, have bigger hitboxes, are faster, and only support hard and expert maps. Level 50 is a very high level, and it's required to play this game mode. The players on pro servers are much more knowledgeable, skilled, and dependable. Pro servers also have the advantage of increasing the rewards you receive for winning maps, which is great for grinding. VC only servers are normal servers with VC only in place of the chat. In its default state, evade has voice chat enabled, but VC only servers requires you to use the VC feature to chat. Due to the many great people I've met through these VC only servers, this is personally my favorite game mode. Evade's inaugural seasonal event, which took place from October 23rd through November 20th, 2022, was Halloween. The game underwent a lot of new changes as a result of this event. The inclusion of tickets was the event's most notable addition. Tickets, a new form of payment for this event, can be acquired through regular gameplay. These tickets could be exchanged in the battle pass that was introduced with this update for special Halloween cosmetics. Many of these cosmetics were well liked, especially tier 7 items like the Broom of Doom, the banana suit, and the doors reference. Additionally, 8 maps with a Halloween theme were made by the community for competition a few weeks prior to the event were also added in here for Evade. A normal map with a drive-in moving theater setting is called Pumpkin Emporium. Azo DZ and Seafoam Breeze designed with loads of hiding places. Numerous cars are parked in the front where a sizable screen is shown playing a movie. Inside the map, there is a kitchen where the map's designers are visible. There are several crops at the back of the map that make it difficult to see, along with a few pumpkins sprinkled around. Cemetery is a normal map. It was made by One Teeth Paste and features a few additional tricks in addition to being set in the typical cemetery. The map's underground area is filled with cobwebs, pottery, and skulls. Cemetery is a very tight map, features a wide array of different kinds of gravestones, but it's honestly one of the more tamer maps on the list when it comes to horror. The best map from Halloween 2022, in my opinion, is Nightmare Library, a normal map. It was made by individuals whose names I'm unable to pronounce and is set in the Evade library, which has a ton of awesome Halloween decorations. The bright lighting in the Nightmare Library really adds to how enjoyable it is to play this map. The best examples of decor in this map are the samurai robot statues scattered throughout the map, a cafe area at the back, and a collection of vintage cars on display. And even the doors reference with the eyes on it. There are many interesting places to explore on this really enormous map, and honestly, I hope it returns in some form in the future. The hard map Catacombs was made by Gekbomb, Spookiner, and Zubzerodo. This map took the horror element much more seriously than any of the other maps. The surroundings resemble a dungeon quest map because of its dim, grimy walls, the only lights coming out from the fire, and the presence of these green eyes. It literally plays like a dungeon quest level. My favorite part of the map is the center, where the decor takes a next level in my opinion. The hanging flesh makes this place truly spooky, and honestly this map fits the bill for what a Halloween map should be in my opinion. An easy map called Hallows Rail depicts a theme park. This is without a doubt the largest map to result from the Halloween update, and it was made by a humongous team of 4. This map possesses many rides, flashing colors, and some of the amusement park rides like the swing boat and the carousel are actually rideable. You can actually use these park rides to avoid the nextbots for a period of time, especially the carousel. However, they're quite unstable, so be careful when using those. It's not difficult to understand why this map is rated as easy because it has the most room and escape routes and is overall the most aesthetically pleasing map despite not being particularly frightful. Compared to the other maps, Warp Estate is a hard map that adopts a more futuristic style. It is one of the 4 solo maps accepted into this event, and it was made by Pat Yam. The first half of this map appears to be fairly normal, but when viewed from the estate's normal warp side, a sizable crystal can be seen in the center. A sand-colored outdoor maze area and an underground sewage area are both present underneath the map. This weird looking corridor that gives me the impression of being possessed is my favorite part. It just looks so trippy. The smallest map included in this update is undoubtedly this one. There's not much open space in this map, and I understand why it's given a harder rating compared to the others. A challenging map called Insane Asylum elevates the horror theme to a deeper level, much like Catacomb. It was made by Auras and is situated inside an abandoned asylum for insane people with dirt walls, broken floors, and a very dingy appearance. There are numerous corridors throughout the map. And honestly, this is a pretty large map. In my opinion, the map is unique because of the gloomy surroundings and the worn out appearance of the map, which together give it a sort of eerie vibe that is absent for all other maps on the game. Insane Asylum features a heavy use amount of doors, and honestly, I should recommend using the light on this one, because Insane Asylum, even on its own without any changes, is a pretty dim map, honestly. The normal map Tudor Manor was produced by Lillerism. It is situated in a massive estate that has a large number of graves in the back. The horror at Tudor Manor is very subdued. There isn't much horror on the map, which is generally very bright, but this map has some really nice lighting though. The main house is connected to a second house that, for some reason, is only furnished with filing cabinets. The most intriguing part about this map is watching Bobo stare endlessly into the table for some reason, that we may never fully understand why. The road area at the map's edge, which gives players another escape route, is the last feature I like to point out. It's a nice touch, in my opinion. Additionally, a temporary game mode called Infection was added throughout this event. You can probably guess what the game mode is about given its title. There are no nextbots during Infection. Several players on a server will be randomly selected as zombies and given the Corruptor Blade, which they could use to stab survivors in the brain. It's honestly a good game mode fit for Halloween. In order to provide the most terrifying rendition of Evade, a new special mode called Lurking, basically a darkness special round with an angry monk's eye combined, was also added during the 2022 Halloween update. Overall, Halloween 2022 went well. Although it had a lot of problems when it first came out, the finished product was fantastic with excellent maps and cosmetics that laid the groundwork for future seasonal events in the future. I'll give you a few more general tips to help you in-game as I wrap up this video. Look at the skull icons scattered across the map as soon as you start the game. You should go without saying that you should stay far away from this area because it is where the next bots spawn. Either the briefcase or the badge should be the first thing you purchase for a beginner. When you first start out, avoid wasting your money on useless items like utilities or usables and even emotes. Those things are only useful in the short term and will be of much use to you. Get the stethoscope out, join a big team server, and start reviving people to take advantage of the $15 cash bonus that you receive for each revive if you want to grind some cash. Pro servers will offer you greater rewards if you are level 50, so if you're grinding for some cash and experience, pro servers is definitely a must. And there is no reason not to enable carry, so please do. Because if you don't accept carry, it will be much more difficult for someone to save you. A lot of people are unaware of this, but when you think about it, it makes sense. The likelihood that the next bots are nearby increases with the number of close friends you have around you. However, the more people who are close to you, the more likely it is that you can be saved if you get down. So what should you do? Positioning is key in Evade. Starting at the edges of maps is typically a good idea when the game first begins. Distancing yourself from the crowd will be a good idea because that is typically where the next bots will pay attention to first. Mid game is when you can start going out with people again, and late game is when this is especially crucial because there aren't many people left in the round and your chances of revival are greatly reduced. However, this is just a rule of thumb, and some maps like Death Maze I recommend to stick with your friends for all of the round. Some maps come in variations for day and night. I'm not sure why, but I think that these maps just look better at night than they do during the day. The flickering of the lights is one of the most obvious signs that the next bots are nearby. If you want to tell for sure, just look at the light source. Pay attention to the Evade Twitter account. They occasionally drop cool items, if you didn't know. For example, the code The Real Deal gives you a cool Twitter badge that you can put on your avatar. To enter the code, look at the bottom left of the title screen in the game, right next to settings. And for my final tip, remember to treat all advice that you receive with caution. There's a ton of bad advice available that is either ineffective or could actually make your game worse. You can watch a video I made about analyzing the TikTok side of Evade on the top right. This was the place where I discovered that a lot of the advice that was given here is just plain bad. The best way to improve in the game is to combine ideas from this video with your own findings. This concludes my full guide to Evade. Working on this project was a lot of fun, especially after my break. I'm feeling energized, hungry, and ready to start creating more videos once again. And if you're still here, I appreciate you watching this. Even while I was away, people continued to offer me support over the last few weeks, and now I'm eager to see what comes next. Thanks for watching.